You like that? You like that? Yeah, we got our own intro now. Welcome back to episode 14 of the Sage's Nook podcast. I am Tom, the Adventure Sage. You might know me as the Adventure Sage on all of my socials. This is my brother and also fellow longtime DM, Mitch, the Dual Wielder. Yeah! Exactly. And yeah, we're getting professional. As you can see, I have a different background. I've moved in my, well, I haven't moved, but I've switched areas in my basement. We got our own intro now. And guess what? We got a sponsor today, baby. We got a sponsor, and we're going to keep having sponsors. So buckle up, because we're going in. What is the Sage's Nook podcast sponsored by on this very monumentous day? This is actually something that I am a co-founder of. The DM's Arc, a new online tool to help game masters elevate their campaigns. It bears the burden of your busy work so you can focus on the session at hand.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We have an official Discord bot that you throw into your Discord session, and it transcribes your sessions in real time. And it's able to distinguish by the accounts, so you'll be able to actually know who is saying what. And then when your session is done, it will take that transcription and summarize it in two different ways. It'll give like a narrative summary, you know, like a few concise paragraphs, and then it will give you highlights like important moments, character decisions, NPCs, enemies, loot, you know, stuff like that. It'll kind of give you like the important parts. And then the Arc indexes those sessions. So it indexes those transcriptions and summaries. And then we have a scribed chat box for past data retrieval. So like, for example, if you're in session 13 and, you know, the party wants to go back to a tavern and you forgot the name of the NPC you made up on the spot 3 sessions ago, you can literally type into the chat box very quickly and just say, what was the name of the bartender in the tavern from session 7? And Scribe will take literal seconds and just, oh, it was Bimble Bob Snort. Bam. You have your stuff, and it works for all sorts of campaign indexing. Now you don't have to really worry about forgetting NPC names, or if your party's arguing about, well, who actually made that decision that led to the TPK? You can be like, actually, I have that somewhere. Let's get to the bottom of it. It's really cool. In summary, it's essentially like your ultimate note-taking tool. It does all of that stuff automatically when you start your session, and it allows you to focus on the game at hand, you know, the story unfolding in front of you. It handles all of those admin tasks, and it also saves you time in prep because now you don't need to spend hours organizing your notes or writing recaps. The Arc just does all of that for you. And the cool thing is that it launched today, the day that this episode is coming out. So Friday, August 15th, we've just officially launched it. It is live. Anyone can go sign up for it. So it's really cool. I'll turn my ad voice off for a second. We're really excited about this. Myself, our best friend Noah, and then our other friend Nick, we have been pouring ourselves into this since the beginning of the year. We just had a month of beta testing. We've already made so many updates, so many improvements. We're just really proud of it. We already have 100 people or over 100 people in our Discord community. We have Mitch making some of the artwork for the site. It's just this whole collaborative effort, and we think it's going to be really helpful for the community. It's going to give a lot more time for dungeon masters to focus on the fun, creative parts of the hobby, which is what everyone wants to do. This is just the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot more planned, and it's not a true promo without a creator code. So you can try out the Arc completely for free for 1 month using the code SAGE, SAGE, when you subscribe. Hello, listener. This is Editing Tom. So Podcast Tom actually got that wrong. By using code SAGE, you can get 2 months free of the Arc, which is even better. But that was Podcast Tom's first ad read. I know he's an idiot, but please just cut him some slack. Anyways, back to the podcast. All you need to do is go to thedmsarc.com. We have all the information about the tool there. You can watch a YouTube video that I put together kind of explaining what it does and all that good stuff. Go to thedmsarc.com. Use code SAGE. So we're very excited, and we're going to continue having more sponsors that aren't things that I'm the co-founder of in future episodes, but this is something that just kind of worked out on this day since we launched, and we're really excited about it. So definitely go check it out. Yeah, it's really cool. Let's move on to the actual episode now. We have moved past the sponsor because we have a special episode planned. We're going to do something that we're going to revisit a very, very popular segment.
Everyone gather around. Gather around, get your ingredients, get your crock pot, get your giant vat of boiling water, because we're delving deep into the sauce.
We're getting back and saucy today. We are getting deep in the sauce. Specifically, we're getting Helm's deep in the sauce. To give a little background context, if you haven't watched our previous episode, first off, we're 14 episodes in. If this is the first one you're watching, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, it only says number 1 on the first episode for a reason.
But in episode 8, we did a segment called Lost in the Sauce, where we explained how to give your sessions that oomph, how to leave your players wanting more of that sauce, how to make your D&D sessions delicious, delectable, and really just pile on everything that's good. It's like that scene, it's the Powerpuffs Girls intro. A little bit of, what is it?
Sugar, spice, and everything nice. But then we spilled chemical X.
Exactly. Here's how to add a little chemical X into your sessions. Here's how to add some sauce. But yeah, we took the Moria arc from the first Lord of the Rings and essentially converted that into D&D, because that Moria scene, I mean, that's what everyone
wants. It's a classic regular like D&D like dungeons session like adventure in the Underdark. It's like picture perfect for that.
Yeah, it like translates perfectly to D&D. It's absolutely amazing. So that is something we want to revisit, and we're now going to do Battle of Helm's Deep, one of the most insane battles ever put to film, super ambitious, and also something that translates perfectly to D&D.
Specifically a siege session.
Yes. So we're going to be talking about this in the aspect of a siege session. When we were talking about Moria last time we did this, that was more of kind of like your traditional D&D session where you have a couple battles, you have a lot of exposition, you have your role play scenes, your lore scenes, and it's very much a big kind of adventure. But this one is a completely different session, but still something that you see in the game of D&D. It is a session dedicated to combat. So the way that we're going to dissect this is actually, we're going to split it up into 2 sessions, because that is what the Battle of Helm's Deep truly is. When you think of what comes before it. So that first session is going to be the prep, the anticipation. And then that second session is going to be all of the combat. And we're going to dissect it. We're going to segment everything and show you how you can properly translate this epic second half of Lord of the Rings into 2 awesome sauce-filled sessions.
Well said.
But let's go ahead and jump into it. Go ahead and just jump right into it. So, like I said, session 1, the prep.
What's the first ingredients we're adding?
Well, we need to add a few certain aspects here. 1, it is tense. 2, dread. There's an army of 10,000 orcs. And then the second one is we want to get our players excited because combat's coming. It ain't here yet, but you better get ready for it because it is coming. So, first and foremost, we're gonna begin the session when our party shows up to Helm's Deep with the entirety of Rohan and King and that whole scene. But we got to address something first. Aragorn. He's late. He's late to the session.
He's missing.
Bro hasn't been here for 2 weeks. He's missed the last 2 sessions. The player who plays Aragorn, he was traveling for work. He had life get in the way, and he's been gone for 3 weeks. The player gets back and he's like, all right, what'd I miss? The DM's like, oh yeah, you missed a lot. Things are pretty bad, and you're probably all gonna die. And he's like, oh shit. But the DM works with the Aragorn player. He goes, okay, well, how can we weave you back into the campaign? You've been gone for a little bit, but let's try and weave you back in a way that's going to propel the story forward. So Aragorn in the movie, he kind of goes on his little Arwen trippy adventure. He's flowing through the river. He's seeing visions of Arwen. But something in particular happens. He gets up on his horse and he sees the army marching with his own eyes. And he can really understand, oh, we're fucked. 10,000 orcs. He rushes all the way back to Helm's Deep and, he opens the door with both of his hands. He walks in, just absolutely aura farming.
Yeah, dripping in aura.
Just dripping in aura. And he gives the party his update. And that's when you get the famous quote from Theoden, 300 against 10,000. You're sowing the seeds of hopelessness there.
Yes. As a DM, you're making the NPCs say things to make the party worry rather than be excited. They're going to be excited to fight. But in classic D&D fashion, D&D parties, they're not really thinking about what's around them. They're thinking about, oh, we're going to get a huge battle. This is going to be awesome. You got to prep them for this. It's not going to be awesome. You're going to be fighting for your fucking life.
Yeah. And you have to, like Mitch said, the D&D party isn't thinking about these dire circumstances. Everyone knows players are bloodthirsty psychopaths. They want to fight. They want to kill. So you need to do some extra work to understand, like, hey, this isn't just a fun battle. There is a lot in this campaign at stake with this battle. So you need to show them the dire circumstances. That conversation that Aragorn has with one of the kids, his name is Haleth, I think.
How the fuck do you know the kid's name?
Dude, I took notes for this session. I got the entire second half of Lord of the Rings fresh in my mind.
Do they say the kid's name in the movie?
It's Haleth, son of Hama.
Do they say that anywhere in the movie?
Yeah, he goes, "I'm Haleth, son of Hama."
Oh, I guess I just ignored him. Just like a classic D&D player.
Yeah, exactly. But they have that role play conversation where the kid, he's like, the man is saying we're not going to last the night. And then, Aragorn, this is a good sword. He whips it around. Give your characters, your player characters, those small moments to have a little bit of humanity. Because we all know that they're just bloodthirsty psychos.
Soak in the sauce. Soak in the atmosphere. You're putting the ingredients in. A little dread here. A little despair here. A little turmoil around. Let them savor in it. Let them kind of role play with the NPCs. Set the mood. Get the dreary music. Really low, just like something chill. Let them kind of experience the moment.
Narrate a lot of imagery, like they're pulling children out to fight. The women and the babies and the elderly are getting shoved in a cave because they have nowhere else to go and they're gonna die if they don't hide in there. Like, you need to make these visuals super apparent to your party because, again, they're not thinking about this stuff right off the rip. They just want to fight, and you gotta really heavy-handedly show them, like, the fight is gonna be awesome because that's half of the game of D&D, but you want to instill what is at stake.
Yes. Yeah. You have to make sure that they know what's coming and they know, like, set the stage, set the atmosphere. If I'm a player and this stuff isn't getting presented to me, evil guys are coming to siege the city. We got this. We're super powerful. We're the best. We're going to defend the city. Like, we're going to be good. But if you're describing that, there's only 300 people, like Tolkien does. We only have 300. We have to get the men and the old men and the young children to help us fight. Then the party's going to start thinking, rather than, we're awesome, we got this, they're going to think, even that powerful NPC king who we saved a couple sessions ago, even he's scared. And he's powerful. He's a level 10 retired fighter or whatever. And he's going to be an NPC helping us. And he's scared. Okay, we might need to prepare a little bit more rather than just face this head on.
Yeah. Speaking of preparation, this is where the players at some point, especially when they get in with a king or a queen or whatever royalty, there's always a moment where they go,
"Can we raid the armory? Can we have full access to the armory and choose whatever magic item we want to get? Can we do that? Can we just have access to all your castles?"
And this is the situation where you go, yeah, you can have access to the full armory. Go in there, choose whatever you want.
King's permission.
King has granted full access. That's when you open the doors. They walk in wide-eyed. A bunch of trash items because you're in the dregs of Helm's Deep. All the swords are rusty and not sharp. They're like, I already have leather armor.
Guys, we only have 2 potions left. I thought we were about to get suited up. We got 10,000 guys we got to fight. We only have 2 potions?
This is Helm's Deep. This is the armory. This is an abandoned fortress. Sorry.
This is what we got. And Tolkien makes it clear. They're getting suited up with garbage. Cut away to later. They're throwing rocks at these dudes. They running out of things to throw.
Yeah. They're literally throwing rocks. After you do that, after you troll your players with the fake out armory raid, you've set the scene now. You've set the dire circumstances. You've helped them understand what's at stake. The severity of the situation.
Yeah, the players have role played a little. They've kind of, talked to the king, maybe talked to some of his advisors about what they should do. Maybe they've learned a little bit more about the actual fort they're in and the actual, like, keep, different areas. Maybe they've had some discussions with them. Tolkien even does, like, there's a little bit of a voiceover where it's panning around where
you mean Peter Jackson?
Yeah, Peter Jackson, sorry. I've been saying Tolkien, it's Peter Jackson, guys, sorry. Wrong artist.
Wrong.
But when King Theoden is talking to the party, Aragorn and the guys, they're doing panning over, no one has breached this place, blah, blah, blah. It's describing kind of the keep to you. No one's breached it except for that little hole in the bottom of the wall. They show like a pan over of the thing. That's where you would take it as the NPC to describe, like, we have the keep here. It's got a bridge that we have well fortified with the gate, and no one's ever broken through the wall, blah, blah, blah. And then you can like kind of maybe have like some guards in the distance do like a little perception check or a insight check to what they're saying. And I remember that hole at the bottom was very fragile. I hope the enemy doesn't know about that. Some little secret just to make the players worry, like, oh, maybe we have to defend that spot better.
Yeah, but you want to really paint the picture of the fortress, because then you can give your party the ability to choose where they want to wait, where they want to start this battle. Do you want to be up by the actual gate into the city? Do you want to be up on the giant retaining wall? Do you want to be up by the king? And focus more on ranged attacks. That whole scenario, you should give them the power to choose where they want to be. In the movie, they choose to be on the wall with the majority of the soldiers. But you give them that plan, and then once they've formulated what they're going to do, you can start kind of building up the hype. Now you've set in the dire consequences. You started laying the groundwork. So we've got the meat on the smoker.
Yes, yeah. The smoker has closed. Now you're waiting for it to start. The soldiers are moving out to the walls. The characters are kind of done role-playing with, the NPCs, and they're done looting the armory. Maybe they're walking with the king up to the mainstay of the keep where they're looking over the battle. They're kind of getting all that prep work done.
Yeah, and then you start smelling that aroma. You start getting pumped up. You start getting hyped. This is when the DM brings back that NPC you met in session 5 that you guys really liked, Haldir. He showed up with the elves.
You hear the horn. You hear the horn.
Yeah.
Burr, burr, burr.
Exactly.
A horn that they heard from many sessions ago. They're going to immediately, like, maybe you play some sort of sound effect, or you just do it with your mouth like I just did. They're going to think, oh, that's the elven horn that we heard from before.
That is no orc horn. That's what Legolas literally says. You build hype. Haldir's here. He brought back up. He's getting chummy with the players now. One of their boys is back. One of the boys is back in town.
This NPC helped us 5 sessions ago. Let's go. He's here. We know these guys are strong warriors. Maybe we can do this.
And it's also more people that you're able to shove into this encounter that the PCs care about, the more you can hurt them later. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that in the second session.
You're loading up that grill with too much meat. Some of it's going to have to fall off. Some of it's going to get burnt. You can't handle all of this fast enough as a player.
But yeah, so you start building up hype. You bring their favorite NPC back, and they start salivating. They're smelling the juices. They're smelling the aroma, and they're getting ready. And that's when, for the finality of this session, of this prep session, it's just calm. You turn off the music. You get your Pocket Bard app up. You turn on the rain noises, and you just let your players sit there in the calm before the storm.
So a little nervous. This is you as the DM opening up the grill. You got the big jar. You got the little lathering tool. You're laying on that sauce.
Table. Everyone else is at the table just waiting.
Building that tension. Anticipation rising. They can smell the sauce from the other room. You've been putting all the ingredients in it for a 3-hour session of role-playing, music, sound effects, NPCs talking, and that's when you hear the choom, 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 and you start seeing the army approach. It's the anticipation, the excitement. The chef is walking in with the saucy brisket.
And then finally the orcs arrive, and it's just this stalemate. And the orcs start screaming, getting hyped up. And then one of the old guys accidentally lets an arrow loose, hits an orc in the neck, it falls. And they all start getting mad again. Getting really mad. And then they start charging. Your players, they're wide-eyed. They're ready to go. Then you hit them with the Theoden line. So it begins. And then, bam. That's where we're going to pick up next session. And then you have your players fucking screaming at you.
They're
Someone flips the table.
They're away. They're just pulling the bite up to their mouth, and you pull it away. Last second. The anticipation for the next session is going to be crazy.
So then that brings us to the epic second session. This is what your players have been waiting for. They've been anticipating this. They are like rabid animals about to eat for the first time in a month. They want this. And this is where you just get right into it.
Yes.
You all sit down, you give a very brief recap of the previous session.
Let's talk about the prep work you're probably going to need for this. You're building that sauce while they're gone. You need to build up, the ingredients that the sauce is going to go on. The garlic bread, the brisket, the ribs, the
potato salad.
chicken parmesan, potato salad, all that stuff you're gonna put the sauce on. You got to build up the basis for this siege session, because that's what it is. It's a siege session. There's going to be many different encounters that you could encounter during this session, depending on where they are on this wall, on this keep. You can break it up.
You also need to make it clear to your players. You can even do this in the previous session. Like, this is not a battle you win. This is a battle you survive. It is 300 against 10,000. You cannot kill all of those orcs. It's just impossible. This is not a session that you go, okay, cool, we killed all the orcs. This is a session that you hold out until dawn, because 3 sessions ago, Gandalf told the party, look to my coming on the first light of the 5th day.
Yes, they know that they have to hold out for that DMPC to show up with reinforcements. Like, make it clear to them that this is a battle they probably can't win. You have to just defend, save as many people as you can, because you need to hold out. They have that preemptive knowledge of Gandalf is coming. He's going to bring a whole army. We need to defend as long as we can for him to show up. We're on a timer, game-wise. You don't necessarily have to tell them how many rounds or how many encounters, but they are thinking like, okay, we just need to keep going, stay alive as long as we can, save all the people around us.
It is a session to hold out, not to win. They can't kill all the orcs. They simply have to survive until morning. And that brings us into the first encounter. The players chose to start on the wall. So now, as the orcs plunge in, we have encounter 1, the volley and the ladders at the wall. This is where the ranged classes are just sniping orcs left and right, trying to hold back as many enemies as you can. You got Gimli the Barbarian standing at the wall, just ready for it.
Yeah, and maybe, this is going to have multiple little, almost like mini games or side objectives in this encounter, the way you design it. We've got the ladders coming up. Perhaps characters can spend an action to undo the ladder and push it over. But then that's their action. They're not fighting while they're doing that, so they might need to get defended. Maybe a player can take an action to command the archers to fire off the wall, help them, kill some of the orcs. Who knows?
Yeah, an action for a volley. You roll, you use your action to call a volley, and the DM just rolls a set amount of dice. That's how much damage is dispersed across the orcs,
Some sort of charisma check. Maybe like the better the check, the better the volley. There's multiple different little mini games you can kind of do. I call it mini games. It's like objectives during this encounter.
Side objectives.
Yeah. You're trying to defend the wall as long as possible. And eventually, you get to the main objective of this encounter, which is to stop the wall from being blown up.
This is essentially, for the most part, this encounter is just designed to, 1, let your players just start making fodder of the orcs, but also start consuming some of their resources.
Yep.
By the end of this session, your players should be on the brink of death if they are not already dead. You want to drain them to their last ability. And this is designed to just kind of start eating away at that. They're having a good time right now. They're fresh. They're ready to go. 3 encounters later, they're going to be feeling a lot differently. But you also want to start sowing the seeds of other encounters. So like Mitch said, you notice down there, the player with the most passive perception, they're like stacking up giant spheres.
Metal spheres.
Down at the... Yeah, they're stacking up giant metal spheres down at the bottom of the wall where that little grate is.
And that's where the Aragorn player who had a good perception check from last session, that's the weak point of the wall. We need to defend that.
Yeah.
Archer, Legolas, you need to shoot them. And he does that in the movie. Legolas! He yells down, shoot him!
Kill him!
It's literally the players talking to each other to assess the situation that's happening.
Yeah, all the while, you can sow seeds of other encounters too. Legolas, you notice with your elven sight, there is a giant formation of orcs walking up the bridge. You think you see in the middle a battering ram. They're going to try and break down the door. They're not there yet, but that's coming. You just start kind of let the chaos ensue and start overwhelming your players with decisions of where are you going to go next? This is not somewhere you can stay. You need to go help other places too. But they don't even get the chance yet because Legolas missed both his attacks. He didn't crit. He needed a crit to bring down the orc. He didn't get it.
Yeah. The wall blows up. But before that, the encounter, it starts off, the ladders coming up. Gimli and Aragorn defending against the ladders, using actions to push them back down. Legolas commanding the archers while also shooting at orcs. Perhaps he then realizes the secondary objective of the orc with the giant torch trying to ignite the bombs. You also have the DMPC, their NPC friend from before who came to reinforce them, fighting alongside Aragorn and Gimli. He's on the wall with them. So they have something to protect and fight. There's a reason for this encounter going on. It gives them perspective on other areas. And that's when, like Tom said, the bomb blows up. It changes the scenario, maybe after a certain amount of rounds. Maybe if they held out for long enough, it would have changed the outcome. Obviously, it's a movie, so they're not going to do that. But in the D&D, you could have it so maybe they are successful, the wall doesn't blow up. And then they can go help somewhere else. Maybe the orcs run out of ladders. Who knows?
But that wall blows up. Everyone make a dex save. Legolas, he's an anime character, so he rolls like a 36. He's fine. Gimli, he's raging, so he takes it, but it's nothing to him.
Gimli that's the character who has the -2 to his dex, and somehow he gets the nat 20 for the 18.
Yeah. So he already takes half damage, and then he halves it again because he's raging. But Aragorn's just a ranger. He fails, and then he takes full damage, gets knocked unconscious. All right, now this is the beginning of encounter 2. Take 5, refill your drinks, go get some snacks, and then you get back in here. Aragorn is knocked unconscious, laying on the ground. Legolas and Gimli, they saved. So they're still up on the wall that wasn't the part of the wall that wasn't blown up. And you got a swarm of orcs coming through the threshold now. And Aragorn is right there, ready to be thirsted.
And this puts pressure on the party. Okay, do those 2 players stay up there with that NPC to defend the wall from those ladders and the orcs invading? Haldir.
Yeah, they're fit.
Or do they go help Aragorn, their party member? Obviously, as a party, you got to stick together.
So they choose Aragorn. You got Gimli. He's still in his rage. All right, it's 30 feet down to the bottom. I'm raging.
I see a puddle.
Yeah. I could take a 3d6 of damage, which is halved. Yeah, I could take it. Just jumps down. Not a care in the world, right into the chaos of combat to help try and absorb some of that damage so the orcs don't go over to Aragorn. Then you got Legolas, of course. He's like, oh shit, Gimli just did something really cool. Hey DM, I see a shield right here next to me off an orc that I killed. Can I throw that down the stairs and ride it like a skateboard and do both of my attacks while I'm doing that? DM's like rolling their eyes. Fucking fine. Give me an acrobatics check.
Give me a 30 acrobatics check.
That's a natural 20 for a 38. Okay, yeah, you do exactly that. And then, Legolas gets his anime moment, but the party's back together. Someone throws a healing potion in Aragorn's mouth or does a medicine check and brings him back up. But the party's back together. But again,
guys, what do? We're overwhelmed. Aragorn then saves Gimli from the orcs. They back up. They realize there are more soldiers behind them. Let's stand here and fight for a bit.
Hold off as much as you can, but you quickly begin to realize every orc you kill at initiative count 20, another one gets thrown back on the board. You're not killing this army. You have to hold them off.
And this is another kind of option you can kind of do for this is kind of let your players know that, like, even during the encounters, maybe beforehand, you can say there's a certain amount of rounds that you just have to last throughout the encounters. Maybe that's 20 rounds. Maybe it's 25. So maybe and you can kind of tell them there's only a certain amount of encounters. So they're only going to get harder. You need to try and survive in these lesser encounters for as long as possible.
Yeah. Or every time you feel like you have to fall back, you can give a mechanic of all right, you can fall back to the next area first. Let's say in your falling back, you get to roll a hit die or something. So it gives them incentive to fall back. But every time you fall back, maybe you lose a round or something like that, and there's a trade-off of, do you stand your ground here or do you try your luck in the next encounter and just hope that you can keep surviving? And it gives this whole, it's a strange juxtaposition to a regular D&D encounter, because generally speaking in D&D encounters, you kill all the enemies, you loot them, and you're good. This one, you are literally fighting for your life, and you might not be all the way down yet, but it's only going to get worse. There's no end in sight right now.
How do we solve the problems that are being presented? And obviously, in the position of the movie, all of the solutions are going out the window. Everything's going wrong. So it's like they're failing at every task. As a DM, you'd probably have some scenarios where they can repel the orcs here and then move on to the next area, and they've succeeded. Maybe it lightens the load for, hypothetically for some of the soldiers, or makes a different encounter easier. There's things that kind of affect the outcome, but for the movie, obviously they're basically failing everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty hopeless until the end. Speaking of hopelessness, or the direness of the situation, they left Haldir up there alone to go save Aragorn.
Yeah, they're fighting with the elves at the bottom. They're trying to defend this new bottleneck because they went to save their friend. Haldir's all alone up there now, and they knew that, and you made sure they knew that when they jumped down.
And then they see in the cutscene as they're falling back, Haldir gets cut down. Their favorite NPC from the beginning of the campaign, he's gone. And it's not, you don't want to frame it as like, you did this is your fault, but you want to give them consequences to their actions. They chose to save Aragorn. Was that the right decision? Yeah, it was. But it was still a decision you made, and there were consequences to it. Aragorn failed his save. If Aragorn didn't fail his save and fall down, you might have still been able to be up there with Haldir. So you got to be thinking and making this combat dynamic, giving it stakes.
Yeah, and maybe, you can do it with mechanics too. Maybe after the wall explodes, they can't use that volley action anymore that they were using before because all the soldiers flew off the wall. You can do a lot of things with changing dynamics, encounters, and everything is just kind of running into each other in a sequence.
Yeah, exactly. So they fall back. They last a few more rounds in encounter 2, but now it's encounter 3. And you can give them more options of like, all right, the king is telling everyone to fall back. Should we try and stay here and fight orcs while we're running away? Should we go and rally to the king and see what he thinks we should do? And then, of course, naturally, the player who plays Legolas, he goes, oh, shit, it's 7:45. I got to put my kid to bed. I'll be back in an hour. And you're like, bro, what?
We're in the middle of a session. The best session.
Sorry, dude, I got to put my kid to bed. I'll be back soon. He walks upstairs. And then it's just Gimli and Aragorn. And they're like, oh, fuck. Well, let's go rally to the king. Let's see what he needs help on. The king's at the gate. He's joining in, but he already got stabbed. He got crit, and he's already almost on his last leg.
Yeah, they see the powerful NPC that they went on a quest to save. They see him injured.
Theoden, what do you need? How long do you need? The gate's being bridged. As long as you can give me. And then the players start scheming, because that's what the players do. They always scheme.
Oh, there was that path that we learned about last time. The path around the gate. We should go take that.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get around.
Where's that door?
Yeah, where's that door?
Where's the door that leads out the side entrance? Oh, it's right next to you. Okay, yeah, we go out there. And then it kind of breaks up the combat for a second. You have a role play moment up against the side of the wall.
And even before that, like as a DM, the movie kind of, if we're taking the aspect of the movie in this, but they just kind of immediately are on the side of the wall. You could even make that hallway longer, give the players a little bit time to rest, make some time up for that other player being missing maybe. You can kind of build it up, let them just chill out for a second. Role play. Where are we going? This way. Okay. Where should we go next? What's falling? What do we need to assist after this? And that's when the players then get to that wall and it kind of sets in. They're rolling stealth checks to make sure that they're unnoticed. Pretty easy stealth checks because all the orcs are attacking the gate. And that's when they kind of think like, oh, there's no way out. We got to jump. How are we going to help them? We don't have archer. They have heavy armor. We don't have good enough ranged weapons.
You have to touch me.
And that's when the players have their, aren't we heroes? That's when they have their aren't we heroes moment. There's 8,000 orcs left down there, and they're all coming up this bridge. We got to jump in there. He needs time. We can see them destroying the door. We need to kill the guys with the battering ram.
And also, just from a D&D tactical perspective, okay, you're 13 rounds into combat. You need 8 more rounds still, at least. All right, well, it's a 15-foot bridge. We can eat a few rounds. Let's eat a few rounds on this bridge. Yeah, let's bottleneck them and just start slicing and dicing. They both roll their athletics checks and jump over, and they just start going in. They're back to back, making sure they can't get flanked, and they're just cutting them down. They're a little bit rested from their short rest, from their moment of role play, and they're ready to just get back at it. They just last as long as they can. But as usual, there's too many orcs. Too many orcs for the party to feasibly defeat.
They only have so many attacks. They only have so much health. The orcs just keep coming. They're trying to get through the rounds, but they're realizing we can't make it they're not repairing the gate behind us fast enough. As a DM, you probably have some sort of like, side objective where they can see every round you announce like at initiative 20, like the gate's being repaired a little more. It looks like it's being reinforced. Better for next round. But eventually the players just can't hold out anymore, and that's what they do in the movie. They're suffering. They're starting to get destroyed.
Aragorn and Gimli, between rounds, they're looking at the DM. Hey, where's the way out? I mean, you can try and jump back, but it's a harder jump because you're trying to jump on a little rock.
And they're trying to grab you. There's orcs around you. They're going to hit you on your way back.
Yeah, and you're going to take opportunity attacks and all that stuff. Where are we going? Then you hear the footsteps coming back down the stairs. Oh, hey, guys, what did I miss? Legolas is back.
That's when the players in character, help us, where are you? And that's where you have, DM, where would my guy be right now? My guy left and went to the ramparts. You'd probably be up top shooting. I have a rope, right? Yeah, you have a rope. Yeah. Can I see them? And that's when the players on the spot come up with an idea to try and save their friends.
Throws the rope down, rolls his athletic, starts pulling them up. They just narrowly dodge the situation. But here's the thing. You still got like 4 rounds left. You don't know how much you can hold back. The orcs do end up breaching the door, and you're truly falling back. And like, you got the players face palming like, I don't know how we're going to do this.
Yeah, this is when they drink their last 2 potions. They're taking a short rest. This is when you start layering that sauce back on. That tension, that buildup. Seems all is lost. They failed their objectives.
Yeah, the dread starts sinking in once more. It's back. This is no longer fun combat. This is now nail-biting combat.
The gate did not repair enough. It's broken. The wall exploded. That one of their favorite NPCs dead. What are we doing?
So they fall back to the keep. They bar that door, and the orcs are outside chomping at the bit to get in. You have other NPCs trying to hold the door strong, and you got your players with the king sitting there like, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah, we're probably going to die. We don't have enough rounds to last.
But then this is where you as the DM, you kind of use your intuition to keep things moving.
Yeah, you start laying that sauce down in the they're in like the hall, the grand hall where the king would normally stay. They're held out there behind the gate.
You see, the DM goes, Gimli, in the corner of your eye, you see a little bit of light coming through the portcullis. The sun is rising. You got 4 more rounds that you have to hold out until Gandalf gets there. And that's when Aragorn.
Yeah. And as a DM or like on a player perspective, the DM can just straight up, you need to fight for 4 more rounds. If you just sit in here, nothing's going to happen. And they're all on like, they're on like 15 health, 20 health, no potions left. They're like, man, this is going to be rough. But we need to do it. We need to go out and face that enemy. And luckily, we have
the Aragorn player. He remembers, oh shit, I have inspiring leader. He gives his inspiring leader speech. Ride out with me for death and glory.
Gives the NPCs.
Everyone gets 5 temp HP.
The NPCs get temporary HP. The party members get temporary HP. They're out of potions. All of a sudden, King Theoden, the DM, just says, you all have horses now. He just gives them all horses in the middle of this hall.
Yeah.
Let's go. You guys see them. They pull them from the cave.
Yeah, exactly. There was a stable in there. You didn't know that? GM, you never described that. No, I did. Yeah, but you have horses now. So
and then the dwarf player, I can't reach when I'm on a horse. It's too big. I'm gonna go blow the horn, guys.
Good luck, guys. I'm on
1 health. I'm on 1 health. I can't go out there and fight. You have to do it without me. I'm gonna go blow the horn. He said it would give us a buff earlier in the session.
They blast out, all on horseback, riding down, sending orcs plummeting down to the ground, and you just gotta hold out. And then finally, we've
got 4 rounds. You need to fight. Round 1, we're fighting.
Exactly.
Vicious. Round 2, double the orcs. Round 3, it's the same amount, but you just can't cut them down fast enough. All the weak NPCs are dying around you. It's just you guys and the king, maybe a couple horseback riders. Those other NPCs die. You're using all of the rest of your abilities, your last resources. Round 4, some of you are on death's door. Maybe one of you's rolling death saves. You're getting this ready. Round 5.
Initiative count 20. You look up. You see Gandalf. Yo, baby. He's got the fucking JBL speaker. The sun eclipsing his beautiful form.
The players all yell, yeah, we're it!
He's got the entire Riders of Rohan army behind him.
All built up
Yeah.
sessions prior. The NPC left 3 sessions ago to go get these guys that were sent away when the king was cursed. The legendary riders that you've built up in the lore.
So you have Gandalf charging in cinematically. You have won the battle. You've won. You've held out successfully. You still lost NPCs. You still gave something, but you have now realized you've won. You completed your objective, and your objective was to survive. There are lasting consequences, but the session's over and you are victorious as the D&D party. And now here is where you get your magic items. Here's where you get the loot.
Gandalf on his journeys. I found these awesome magic items while trying to save these people. Or King Theoden himself. Thank you for saving me and my people. Here's my awesome legendary sword. You can have access to the vault when we get back to Rohan, not Helm's Deep.
See, exactly. And that's where you get your loot. You get your prizes for winning. The players will feel really good. And that's the thing is, after that's done, you are so full that you don't even want to think about barbecue for a second.
Too much sauce.
It was delicious. It was delectable. It was amazing. You wouldn't have it any other way, but you just need a second to sit on the couch and breathe now. You are stuffed to the brim.
Satisfied.
Saucy meat.
Yep.
Satisfied. That's a good word.
Satisfied by the sauce. And the sauce can only be brought by a DM who wants to put in the work and the effort to make their players happy.
Exactly. You got to satisfy your players, and it's not all on you. Your players got to bring the sides. They got to bring the condiments. They got to bring what they are supposed to be bringing.
They got to bring an appetite. They got to bring that hunger. They got to be wanting to eat that sauce. They got to be there, involved. I'm ready for these ribs. I'm ready for this brisket. Give me that sauce. Let me get in there.
Exactly. Your players got to want it. But that is our interpretation of how you would translate Helm's Deep into D&D. We think it translates pretty perfectly, and there's a reason it's one of the most epic battle sequences ever put to film. I would argue maybe the most epic, probably only to be showed up by other fight scenes in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Give it to me the saucy way.
If you're not playing sauced up D&D, are you playing D&D?
Yeah, you're getting that dry ass fucking lambus bread. No, I want the pork feast Gimli promised to me in Moria. I don't want the fucking lambus bread.
Exactly. Meat right off the bone.
Yeah, I want to be like Bellathor when he's eating all that food in the palace. That's who I want to be.
Yeah.
I want to be eating like that when I'm playing D&D.
And with that, that's our sauce segment this week. Hope you enjoyed it. We do want to keep doing this. Mitch and I have kind of been discussing, since we're coming back on a weekly basis, we've been discussing different kind of segments that we're going to do. Obviously, we have the wisdom check. We have the sauce. We got a couple more in the pipeline that we're going to try out, but we're going to kind of rotate these in and out every episode. So next week, we are doing the wisdom check. We're bringing it back. Rafi, I'm looking at you. We already got one in the pipeline from you, so have no fear.
For future sauce episodes, give us your references. Give us battles you want us to go over. It doesn't even have to be fantasy. You can do saucy D&D sessions for things that are fantasy, and you can still kind of relate it back to fantasy. Any suggestions you have, we'll go over them. It'll be cool to talk through, and it'll give me maybe new movies to watch.
Yeah, like Mitch said, give us recommendations of scenes. They don't even have to all be combat. Like the Moria sequence is not all combat. It is very role play heavy. It is very lore heavy.
Classic D&D adventure rather than like, and that's kind of where the crutch of this episode comes from. We're doing a siege session this time. That was a classic dungeon underground travel adventure, where they eventually make it to the dungeon and then, fight the boss in the bottom of the cavern and they have to run away and then they get out of the dungeon desperately.
But what we do want to do for next sauce, our next sauce segment is we want to continue this pattern. We want to pull a sequence from the third Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
But the third Lord of the Rings, it doesn't necessarily, in my headcanon at least, it doesn't have like a single iconic scene because it is just nonstop in your face chaos in the third one. Like the first Lord of the Rings has the Moria sequence. That's like the famous part of that movie.
It's
Then
the
you have
great,
Helm's,
yeah. It's like the great, like third act.
Yeah, and then you have Helm's Deep, which is like the great part of this one. The third one is just nonstop action. So if you have a scene that you think that you want us to do, comment it, please. I can't promise we'll do it because we have ideas too, but we want help. We want help deciding which scene we're gonna do for next time.
The obvious one to kind of select would be like the siege of Minas Tirith, but again, that siege is going on for half the movie. I don't really know how we're gonna compile that into a D&D session. So I mean,
or
we could
like
try.
the last battle.
Yeah.
But even the last battle when they're trying to hold out for Frodo and Sam to destroy the ring, it's very similar to the one we just did. We'd be repeating
we
ourselves.
just did a siege, so
something different. We're looking for something different, but we do want to do it from the last Lord of the Rings movie, and then we'll move on to another set of movies. I really am enticed by the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. That's one I definitely want to do. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about scenes to comment. But yeah, next week we're going to do the wisdom check. So please comment any questions, comments, subjects you want us to talk about. The wisdom check is a lot more free flowing. We'll just answer questions from the listeners.
Ramble off.
Comment that below.
Kind of just start talking about random stuff. Doesn't even relate to your question. Maybe we'll answer your question. Maybe we won't.
Maybe.
All we know is that we're going to be giving you...
We are prone to tangents when we do wisdom check.
Yeah, all we know is we're going to be giving you the right answer. The right answer.
Yeah. Whatever we say is objectively correct, and there's no way to argue against it.
Yeah, it's not an opinion. So it's just fact.
But thank you again for everybody that is listening. We are back on a weekly basis. We are back in the scene, and we are not going to stop. So super excited to keep this going. Please, again, going back to the beginning of the episode, try out the DMs arc. Go visit thedmsarc.com to see what it's all about. It's a super cool tool. We think it's going to be really helpful for the community. We poured a lot of effort into it, and we're excited to keep growing. We already have 100 people in the Discord, and that's growing every day. So super excited, but we'll keep going.
Tom,
but with that being said, Mitch, you got anything?
Maybe we even make a Discord for this podcast.
Holy shit.
Then you can put your questions directly in there. Talk to us in text form directly, not in our comments. That's a good idea, right?
Yeah, we'll look into that. All right. That's a good idea. We'll look into that.
I guess I'll call us out. All right, we're done. Let's go. Boo!